Welcome back to Sam's Garage, presented by NH Oil Undercoating. Sam and Doug get ready to install new ceramic-coated headers on the Alpha 1 GTO. During the installation, they realize the steering shaft needs to be modified as well. Let's see what these gearheads come up with.
Well, Doug, I got a lot done under the hood. I got the fuel injection installed. I got the MSD ignition system installed. I even got you a vacuum block right there. All we got to do now is install the headers.
Yeah, the headers that we have right here, it's real important that you match up the header ports with the head ports to make sure they're the same. Take a gasket, put it over the manifold. You're going to have to change the gasket just slightly, make sure it all fits right. And these are ceramic coated. It'll keep the heat going out the exhaust and not in the engine compartment. That's real important.
Absolutely. We got block hugger headers. We are going to have to make a new steering shaft in the driver's side. And as you can see, we got oval ports, whereas the engine has square ports, but we're going to get copper gaskets for a 351 with the bigger ports, and we can always go in there and shape the port to the correct shape that we need so everything flows correctly. All right, Doug and I just got done mocking up the steering shaft because we had to run a new one in order to clear the exhaust header. It's going to work out pretty nice.
Yeah, it looks really good, Sam. We had to put a couple of U-joints in there, made sure everything was really stiff, how it mounts on the chassis. We're going to have to drill and tap a couple holes, but make sure your metal's plenty thick when you're doing that, but it looks great. All right, when you're dimpling the header for clearance, it's real important that you use something round. We just went ahead and used this bolt. And go ahead and lay it in the approximate angle and then use a ball peen hammer onto it. You don't want to do this. If you do this and start to hit it, it'll be an absolute mess because the only thing we want to do is clear the shaft. Okay, we've gone ahead and we've drilled the holes, and what we did is we stepped it up. I wanted to make sure that everything stayed on size, so you first start with a pilot hole, then we went to a little larger, then a little larger, and make sure you're using the proper drill size for the tap. The other thing is how thick the metal is. You want to make sure you can get at least 3 threads in off of the tap, and then it's plenty strong. If it's only 1 thread, it's going to pull out. Make sure you can get 3 threads. If not, you've got to use a nut and bolt. Putting on a little assembly lube, I just want something in here so it allows the tap to go all the way through without any type of galling or tearing. And it'll keep the threads very intact. We want to make sure we use what they call a thread gauge to make sure the threads are the proper
depth.
Thank you.
All right, I clearanced the header. Now I can put my starter in. I've got a mini high torque starter, light in weight, and I'm going to put it right here. And I've already made the orientation of the starter to where I can get to my connectors right here. And that way the wires can go up along the side of the header and not up right next to the header. Doug and I got the headers completely installed. It was a little tough on that side, but all complete.
Yeah, it was a little bit of work, Sam. We had to get everything mocked up. Then we had to do a little bit of indenting the header to get everything to fit quite right. But you know, it looks wonderful. It's a great set of pipes. Everything looks nice.